So here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's water cooler chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's orchestrating, delegating, broadcasting, developing, or transcoding. If you have any questions, please come ask, and hopefully we'll have some answers for you. We'll start with introductions, and as I go through introductions, I'll get you to bring up a topic or question you have, and we will go through them together. So I will start with myself. I'm Titan, been running the TitanNode pool since April of 21. And today my topic is around compiling Livepeer binaries from source. So I'm looking to do this because I'd like to make a small modification for my pool, and I don't know how. I think I could figure out how, but there's other people in here with experience that I know of, so I'm going to rely heavily on them. So that is my topic, compiling from source. We'll move on to Ben. Would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey guys, Ben with Authority Null. I've been running my Orchestrator since November last year, so a little over a year now. Sorry, coming over a cold. Topic for today would be a new pool that some of us have been working on and would like to talk about and share.
Very cool. I like it. I think it was a couple meetings ago we slightly touched on it, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Thank you for joining us, Ben. Chase Media, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hi everyone, it's Rebecca here with Chase Media. I've been running the node since February of this year, and no topics today, just listening in, and hi to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Pawn, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Evening, everyone. I'm Pawn. I've been running my own orchestrator since April this year, so not even a year yet. I have no specific topic, but I'll join with Ben's pool topic today.
New pool topic. Like it. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, if you're in the audience, please put up your hand if you'd like to join us on stage. It's totally open for anyone to come up and join, listen in, and introduce yourself and all these kinds of things. So I believe everyone has the ability to invite themselves up if they wish, so please go ahead and do that. Papa Bear, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear me. Okay. Well, if you guys can hear me, that's good enough. I am Papa Bear. I run the solar farm orchestrator, and that has been running since July of last year, which I wouldn't even know if I wasn't here pretty much weekly and had to say that at the beginning of each one of these. I have no idea how long I was running this thing for. As far as a topic, I don't really have one, but I have a feeling I will be jumping in because I tend to do that. So I do not have a specific topic today.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Mike Z, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey y'all, Mike Zuper here, running Xode App since February this year, waiting for that year anniversary. Haven't gotten there yet. That also means we haven't been 1 year on Arbitrum, so because I came in around the same time. So we'll all be popping champagne at the same time. No topics. I'm real interested about this pool. We'll be jumping in on that topic. And anything as it relates to compiling, my ears perk up. So good to be here.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Ftkuhnsman, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey guys, Joey here with Ftkuhnsman. I run the Ftkuhnsman Orchestrator. I also run and operate the Arbitrum community node, subsidized by Livepeer. Any questions about that, let me know. Otherwise, no specific topics for.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Sure. My name is Ryan Curran. I run NightNode. I've been running it for about a year and like 3 months. I don't have a topic right now, but I usually figure one out after we do all these introductions, so I'll jump in at some point.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. SpeedyBird, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey everybody, SpeedyBird here. No topic for me today. Just moving along here. Been orchestrator now for just a tad over a month. I have to say that I'm a grateful recipient of the TitanNode grant. So TitanNode, thank you very much. Getting that stake, seeing a little bit of uptick in sessions, and it's nice to feel like I'm starting to warm up here and get comfortable in this environment. And so that's all I got to say. So thanks.
Very cool. And congrats on finishing the startup grant. If people are unfamiliar with the grant, of course, you can apply for a temporary stake for your node if you're new to the community, and you just got to complete some simple tasks, and yeah, you get some stake from one of our sponsors. So congratulations, SpeedyBird, on the startup grant, and welcome.
Thank you.
Pawn. Oh wait, we already did Pawn. Pawn. Oh, I'm gonna skip you because you went from the top of my screen to the bottom. We'll go on to Joninis. Joninis, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Jonas. Joninis is just a bit like a nickname. I'm part of the Pixel Field node, and we've been running our orchestrator just short over 3 months now, so it's all still very fresh. So obviously, I haven't got any topic. I just would like to listen in tonight.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Andrew, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Sure. So my name's Andrew. I'm brand new. I'm literally brand new to. In fact, you guys are the first Discord that has water cooler meetings. Everyone else doesn't talk. There's like no discussion. So I'm really interested to see, what the project's about. So a little backstory about myself is I run an internet service provider on the West Coast of the U.S. and we have a lot of bandwidth and a lot of new servers. And I'm like, well, you know what? I've been in the IT industry for over 20 years. And back in the 90s, the whole, well, I want to broadcast video. It wasn't so easy. It's even more difficult now. So I'm really looking forward to see what Livepeer can do as far as decentralizing the control of, oh no, you can't stream that because we don't like you, sort of deal. So I'm not sure where to get started, but I think I'm gonna have lots of questions.
Very cool. Well, either way, welcome to the community, and we're glad to have you and anyone newcomers as well. So just jump into the conversation as we go through. If questions come to your top of mind, just go ahead and ask them. This is very cool. Are you looking at using Livepeer for its services,
Yes.
or are you interested in being like a service provider, like providing bandwidth?
Probably service provider, more infrastructure bandwidth rather than doing the application end of it. But although there are use cases for people want to stream stuff, got some domains I could build an app on, but mainly it's about creating that infrastructure that supports the whole Web3 deal and not having to deal with the, well, we're Xfinity, you can't do that. Actually, we can.
Very cool.
Well, it's very, very cool stuff. And I'm just now getting into it. I'm like, oh, okay. I have a little algorithm here and there, and it's new to me.
Very cool.
So,
well, we're glad to have you. It's amazing. And quick question: how did you hear about us? How did you hear about Livepeer?
Livepeer, I kind of dug into the whole media network thing and looked around and wanted to see what's kind of on the underside of it, and I found it just randomly. I'm like, oh. Okay, that's kind of how it works. It didn't really make sense to me how everything works. It's very much futuristic. You can put it that way. A lot of people are like, well, what's crypto? How does that work? I don't even want to try to start. I don't even know.
Oh, so you found Media Network first and then discovered Livepeer from there.
Yeah, and I couldn't get anybody to talk in Telegram, nor in their Discord. I'm like, peace. I'm going to go to another community that actually has people. And, so it's important to me. If you're building a community thing, you got to have the community, right?
Absolutely.
It's important.
100%.
Very cool.
So that's like, oh, well, I guess I want to check out the, you guys mentioned something about your NightNode grant thing. How does that work?
Sure. Yeah. Well, either way, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us, Andrew, and welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'll quickly get into that after I just quickly say, anyone else in the audience, please raise your hand or invite yourself up to stage where you can introduce yourself, a topic, and join in on the conversation. It's pretty easy going, so just, come up and join. So quickly, I'll just answer your question about the startup grant, because we actually do have SpeedyBird in here who just earned it. What the startup grant is a program I put together to encourage new orchestrators to spin up their nodes and give them a foundation of what I believed was important for kind of marketing and branding your node. So, so there's a couple hoops you got to jump through. So like you got to have your node set up. You got to have your profile built. You have to have a website explaining, who you are, what you do. You know, maybe a unique proposition that you have. You know, like Papa Bear is his proposition is you know, 100% green energy node, and mine is a pool situation. So everyone here has a different unique kind of aspect they want to try with their node. Maybe it's obviously not mandatory, but I encourage some sort of uniqueness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can check out the whole startup grant here. I have a link to it. I'll post it in the water cooler side chat just above us.
Wonderful.
And,
I'll take a peek.
And you can kind of, if you are interested in spinning up an orchestrator node, I'd highly recommend applying for the startup grant.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely do that. 'Cause we're looking at doing it like the next week or two. Like this week could be our electrician comes tomorrow or Wednesday. We have a data center we built. We've been waiting months and months and months to finally flip the switch. So it's like, okay, almost there. I got servers and bandwidth. I could do something with them.
Very cool.
You know,
cool. Okay,
Yeah.
here I'll put it in.
I put it in the
I
chat.
got
I put it in the chat.
Oh, there we go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Appreciate
SpeedyBird's
it.
on top of it. Look at that. That's amazing.
Oh, Andrew,
very
you were
cool.
you were the one chatting in the media Discord,
Yeah.
right? About all
Yeah.
the storage you had, the
Yeah.
terabytes and terabytes.
Yeah, and no one
Insane.
replied back.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I'm gonna go to another community. There's no one there. It's like you guys don't understand how it works with the internet community.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
really,
always a
Fascinating.
bit
Nothing to
surprised.
do with it. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's okay. You know, people will catch up eventually.
media's been doing some really cool stuff, and I'm always surprised when I go to their Discord and it's like nobody's really talking
Yeah.
about it.
It's a very, very
I was-
cool
I was
platform.
about to say the same thing. Like I like what Media Network is doing, and every time I go into their Discord, I'm like, is this like how are all these like how are they working on all this stuff and all these cool things, and no one in here is even talking about it? I wouldn't know
Yeah.
a thing if I was just coming in there to their Discord.
Yeah.
It surprises me.
You guys have no nodes on the West Coast? What? I'm gonna have to fix that.
So
Look at this map here you sent over.
that's an interesting conversation. I'm going to bring that up as a topic too. Of like, if if our community is worth somehow like if we believe Media Network is a good integration tool with Livepeer, is it something that we could as a community somehow support their community? If that is something we're interested in, or if we believe that the technology is cohesive for each other and the end user. So that could be an interesting discussion. Maybe we'll jump into a bit later.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, which a couple people have mentioned, and I'm excited to hear about. So, one last thing before we get started, I would like to make a quick announcement. Yondin will be joining us next week at the water cooler chat for a discussion about all things technical about Livepeer. So, if you guys have read the latest GitHub on the selection process, or if you have any questions for Yondin, please now is the time to write down those questions for this week, so that we can next Monday at noon or 3 p.m. EST, we'll have Yondin, who is the what is he? The head engineer, core engineer. I don't know. He's the guy. So please have your questions ready for Yondin next week. It'll be good to get lots of answers from him. So very excited for that. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the new pool idea. Authority Null, you brought it up. I know Pawn also did as well. Authority Null, take it away with this pool and what you've got going on.
Yeah, for sure. So I can probably talk about it at a little bit of a higher level, and then if any of the developers working on it want to jump in, feel free. But I think it really started when LifePool started having problems a few months ago, and it kind of brought up the question of, okay, how many pools are on this network, and how many of them are actually doing well? And the answer was, well, there's one. It's TitanNode's pool, and LifePool is kind of having some problems. So there was definitely room for a new pool. And we figured, what if we try something a bit different? What if we all come together, a group of us, and build this sort of like a business, and with all our different skill sets and the things that we're good at, see if we can build something really cool and something we can build on top of in the future. And that's where this pool idea came up, and we've been quietly building it for the last 3-4 months. So I can post the website in the chat if you guys want to look at it.
Oh, very cool. Video-miner.com. Ooh, I like the name. So is this an open source project, a closed source? Like what's the goal of this mining video mining pool?
Yeah, so the goal is to be able to onboard transcoders and complement the Livepeer, the ecosystem as a whole. We plan on having a selection criteria that does focus a lot on performance without us having to manually touch anything, so that we can actually help the Livepeer network grow and achieve more instead of just having like a bunch of 1060s on the network. But in terms of open sourcing or closed source, that's a conversation we've been having a lot. We don't really have an answer for that yet. And maybe Ftkuhnsman or Mike or NightNode can jump in on the closed source or open source conversation. We don't really know where we want to go with that. There's a lot of pieces in there that make us very unique. So it's not something we have a definitive answer on yet. I think it'll come down to mostly how Livepeer reacts to this. If it's something they want to help fund, obviously they like to have things open source. So I think that'll be a conversation we have with them for sure.
Very cool. How far along are you into this? Is it production a little bit, or is it still?
Yeah, it's
it's fully running now.
It's fully running. We're still working on the installers and the scripts and getting like all the installation stuff into a public repo because right now it's not public. So there's still a lot to do, but in terms of like beta ready, it's up, it's going. We got a custom dashboard. You can stake to the node from the dashboard itself. Marco's been working on that, so it's definitely production ready.
Video mining. Is this pool? Is this is one orchestrator taking this over, or are you all like? How does it work? Because I know there's a couple of you working on it. Are you guys all pooling together? Are you guys running your own pools individually with the same software? Like how are you guys doing that?
We are all running this together. We're all pooling our resources into one orchestrator. So this is one team behind one node.
It's all built on a partnership.
Yeah.
All of us have an interest in it, and all of us have a stake in it. All official documents and everything.
Oh, very cool. This is I like the dashboard. It looks very nice.
And it's 8 orchestrators.
Wow.
Paired up.
So all 8 orchestrators are contributing. Are you guys using your own nodes, or are you guys like how does it work? Are you guys all running your own nodes? And then
right.
Is this a new orchestrator, or are you guys all just contributing resources?
This is a new orchestrator in itself. All of us right now are like, I mean, we were doing like beta testing through the old videominer.xyz orchestrator for probably a month or two. And then now we are officially launched under a new orchestrator address. And everybody right now is contributing some sort of capacity for our regions. And then as we probably onboard actual transcoders, we'll likely, back off a little bit to allow them to get actual streams and stuff. So we're not encroaching on that.
This looks beautiful. I really like the layout
really
of all this.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is slick. I've got a domain called epicstreams.com. I've been holding on for about 5 years now. I'm like, oh, what can I do with it and not get sued by Epic Games?
That's
awesome.
A good name to have.
Yeah.
So, when is so if I signed up for the closed beta, would you let me in?
I would say as soon as our installers are ready, yes. And so when you enter something in that form, it's going to get sent to an email that I set up, but it's not like a company email, so that's something we have to set up as well. Mike Zuper was going to work on a email server for us. He just left, so I sense he knew that was coming. But yeah, so there's a couple of loose ends there, but it's really just getting the installers up to where we want them. We have a partially working Windows installer that looks really, really cool that SpeedyBird has been working on really hard. And Linux steps are really simple, but we need to move some things into a public repo so people can actually access it.
Very cool. Are you guys wait? So are you guys dissolving your current nodes into like one node, or are you
Nope.
guys?
No.
This is an additional thing, an additional project here, just to have a pool. Just a bunch of us.
We wanted to help bridge the gap between, you know, because basically from where we were seeing what was happening with Livepool, which unfortunately wasn't really providing a value add to the community. So we kind of wanted to, and you know, you have your pool and everything, which was kind of inspiration for this. You know, not that we wanted to fix anything of yours, but that we wanted to, you know, add some positive contribution to the community. So, you know, we kind of came together and started trying to fix some of the things that we wanted to see in a pool, and see if we can, you know, allow for a kind of easy mode into learning about Livepeer, getting started. I mean, most of us got started on Livepool, right? And then we ended up making our own transcoders after the fact. So this was kind of our way of kind of improving from the orchestrator side.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. Because yeah, I came from Livepool. I think everyone here, like most people, have come from Livepool, and like the reason I built NightNode pool is because I wasn't happy with Livepool. It's like the reason why, right? So and then Livepool has been not really operating correctly. No, and it's actually hurt a lot of people. I think like a lot of people are pretty upset about it.
Yeah, turned off from it.
Yeah, they lost a lot of stake, and now it seems like they're trying to fix things quickly. Once that stake left.
Oh, Livepool lost stake?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were like 350 plus, and now they're down on that. But you have like, because their name was so closely related to the actual name of the project, for Livepeer to Livepool, and they had a lot of support from Livepeer and stuff like that. And then people go there, they read Nico's article on Medium for how to make $1,000 a month with Livepool and everything like that, or Livepeer, and it brings all these people here, and then they get the kind of the service and the, you know, that it was producing, and it's a turnoff, and it doesn't look good for the protocol. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good for the community. So, you know, we're kind of hoping that by, you know, your efforts, our efforts combined, that we might be able to put on a better face for this, you know, this company, for this protocol, that maybe we can bring some positive PR to this.
Absolutely. There's definitely room for a high performing pool. Like, this has been a problem I've been working on for a while, and like I still haven't fixed it. Like, people are currently gaming my pool and like getting through this secret phase and like joining with their crappy transcoders, and I'm like, I spent all night last night trying to like fix this issue with people gaming my pool. I got to like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, okay, I think I did it. And then like within 3 minutes, this person like bypassed all the security features of my pool and like started transcoding like way worse than real time. And I'm like, man, like how do I get this guy away from my pool? Like he's just like, and so I think I come up with like another, like, yeah. So like I'm just building this out like as I go, trying to figure out like how any of this works. So if you guys,
how every business starts though?
What's that? Yeah.
Is that how every business starts though? Yeah.
Exactly.
Is bandwidth the challenge for you guys too? I have lots of bandwidth. I mean, 25 gigs. We have a little bit of bandwidth.
There's depreciating returns on that, right? Like, I mean, if you just need to get your latency as low as possible, below the 2-second round trip on there. Yeah. And a lot of that you can't control. I mean, you can put up whatever graphics card you can, and that's going to eat up some of your round trip. But yeah, you just want to have the best performance that you can and the most reliability, right? That's why we're distributed. Like most of us that are on here have servers in Singapore, even though it doesn't really transcode, but it shows up on the dashboard. And like Frankfurt, London, East Coast, which is New York City, Chicago, and California. But keep in mind though, future proofing this. Well, California, there is a California node I think in Los Angeles. But the future of Livepeer, preferably would be that you're not setting up your node in the same data center as Livepeer, because Livepeer in the future shouldn't be the only person that you're trying to get business from. It should be anywhere. So then at that point, you can distribute yourself randomly, and you should be pretty good for getting streams.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's really cool. I'm excited to see what I can build.
Make sure you.
Where's your ISP? Where's your ISP located? I know it's West Coast, but
Seattle.
Seattle. Okay.
Yeah. We've got actually 3 feeds from different data centers too, back to a small town.
You own the data center, or you own the ISP?
Yeah, I own the ISP.
Damn.
Yeah.
I just use internet.
Yeah, it's been 3.7 years of building to the point where we can actually launch in our own office now instead of someone's closet.
That's awesome. I mean, you'll have great connectivity with.
Oh yeah, we already do.
That'll
It's
help.
fast. It's like holy crap, fast.
I would make a quick recommendation to the pool when you guys are marketing it. Make sure you add it to the Livepeer docs list of pools. I know I get a lot of transcoders from that official documentation, and so the only 2 on there are Livepool and Titan, and so everyone goes, "Oh, Livepool, that seems more pooly, and it seems more related to Livepeer." So they go there, and then they like have troubles, and then they come to mine eventually. It's kind of So
is there a link for where we can add that?
Yes, here, let me send it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Which, I mean, is Nico back to supporting it?
That's what he said.
Is he just doing reward calls now?
No, over the weekend he said that he's working on a version 2, and he said all the regions are up. But since I'm still actually in Livepool, and I have been since I first started there last April, I think all the nodes except EU is up. The other ones may be up, but not actually functional, because I haven't seen any work come in. And when I check the scoreboard, he's not getting it. There's no scores for anything other than the EU. So he's running an old version of Livepeer as the underlying software, which I think is just having issues with RPC requests. And if it goes down for a while, this is just a guess because I obviously don't know what's going on, is that it's like overloading and just running like it's crashing, trying to catch up on the old RPC stuff that the newer versions of Livepeer have addressed. So I think he starts them up and then they don't actually get fully functional. It's just they're just start pulling blocks and probably just freeze at some point, but you can still connect to them, but you don't receive any work. So but yeah, one region is up and running, and that's probably why reward calls are being called now, because for a while, like I think he missed like a week or so of reward calls, I noticed, and that's when he lost the stake.
Okay, I put a link into the water cooler chat. You can just this is the transcoding pool section of the docs. As you can see, Livepool and TitanNode are listed. You can I think you just hit edit this page, and you can go into GitHub and do a pull request. Is it pull request? Something like that. I don't know. I don't know even how I did it. I don't know how GitHub works that well. So anyway, but yeah, add your guys' public pool there once you guys are live for actual, like, not closed beta. Hopefully, like when you guys are like public, then you guys can add it there.
I think even if we haven't fully decided, but I think once we actually do go public per se, it might still be capped, because you don't like, for example, on live pool, there might be like 50 people on there, and you know, if you get a few, like back when I used to do it, it was like if you get like, you know, 100 segments in a day, that was a lot. So we might want to keep it a little limited, at least until volume and you know, sessions grow.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep
we
it, keep,
really we want the transcoders to get paid.
actually, yeah.
Yeah,
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 that's
of course. Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys decide. Obviously, that's all on you, right? But yeah, it's a good resource, and I think it's, if you guys are putting together something that's very good for the community and for the project, then yeah, add it to the docs.
For sure.
Yeah, I appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the tip.
Yeah, cool. And any other? Do you guys want to discuss more about how the pool works, or are you guys still just kind of just announcing it today and want to just put it out there? Because I have some questions about how you guys are doing it, but it's up to you.
That depends if Mike Zuper is here or if he's only partially listening in.
I'm here. Sorry, I'm kind of got a bunch of things going on at the same time, but I am paying attention.
I mean, if you've
All
got
right.
questions, go for it.
Ask away.
Sure. Okay. So what is the reward? What is the fee cut for the pool? What is the commission for the pool compared to your transcoders?
Oh, yeah. Like, so we haven't actually. Sorry, Mike. You could go. I'm sorry.
No, I think if you look at it right now, it's on the Explorer, right? So, but it's a 90%. I think the fee cut is currently 90%. But again, the goal of the pool is to serve the transcoders, right? That's when we talk about who, quote, the customer is. We look at the transcoder as probably the most important person, right? Obviously, the delegators are equally important, and we're not trying to rank in that regard. But I think the transcoder is the one that makes this whole thing work, right? And being able to give them the maximum amount of the reward or the fees is the idea behind it.
So 100% of what they transcode they receive in ETH?
We haven't worked out the exact percentage of it. I mean, obviously we have overhead, we have, you know, we're going to have a monthly cost and everything. And obviously for the effort, there's going to be something that we would eventually take as a commission on that. But yeah, the intention is to provide the people who are actually doing the work with majority of what actually gets received.
Like,
yeah, but that also comes with limited amount of overhead, right? So automation. Yes. We're not going to have, you know, the system's going to be just enough to handle the work that it needs to do. And again, it'll be everything just enough to satisfy the need, but to keep the cost as low as possible so that maximize the transcoding payout for the work done.
So you guys haven't come up with a fee commission structure yet?
Well, I mean, it's right now it's 90%, and that. So sorry. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to explain. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you look at it, at the end of the day, there's a lot of numbers, and it makes it hard to explain. But what I'll try to do quickly is you know, from the Livepeer perspective, we all understand you're going to get transcoded payouts. You know, you get your tickets when you actually do your work, right? And it's an estimate in terms of, you know, based on the number of streams, et cetera, like the renditions and all that. So the Livepeer payout is going to occur. And what we have done is we are basically going to say whatever the pool earns, we're going to have right now it's set at 25%, which is the, you know, whatever it costs to manage the pool. 25% of that is the pool commission, but it's 90% of that is the fee cut. So 75% of the 90% goes to the transcoders. If that's clear, or if it maybe could be said differently.
Yeah. So like, let's take the fee cut away from like the Explorer side. Like, we already know that goes to delegators and blah blah blah. But like, like let's say that the orchestrator, the O, receives 0.1 ETH. You're saying that the pool fee the pool commission is 25%. So the pool keeps 0.25 and the transcoder reads 0.75. Is that correct?
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. So that's your
And that
current
number
commission
can
split.
change. Right. That number can change. I think the big factor there is, what does the infrastructure look like at a global scale? Now we're running multiple nodes, but the end of the day is, how do we optimize the proper VPS? How do we optimize everything? And I think that's where we'll start to see the number go up or down. And it's not clear yet whether it's going to stay this way or goes up or down. I think that's where a little bit operational will give us more insight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think Live Pool, their fee is only 5%, which I always thought was very low. Like I was like, wow, like they don't. But that's probably reflective in the pool stability. Like,
right,
there's not enough of those fees are. Although arguably the amount of stake they have, that should be subsidizing a good pool experience.
Now, again, that's the other part, right? Like if the delegators start to see, because again, as a group of people, we're expected to lose money, right? We want to make sure that the transcoders are served and the environment is 100% ready for production scale. You know what I mean? So we already committed to doing that. And I think the part that it's not a profit thing for us yet in terms of the ability to make this successful is get the transcoder served, make sure there's a public need solved, and then allow the delegators to look at it and say, okay, we want to participate because obviously this is something that's serious and it's not a fly by the night. It's not a side project. It's not a side gig. It's the real deal, right? It's something that is going to be there. We intend to support it as if we are treating real customers, paying customers. But then the delegation part, when the rewards as part of the staking come in, that's where we can start to look at that and really drive the pool commission down, because we'll have other means to allow to sustain the infrastructure.
Exactly.
Very cool. I like it. Are you guys running an O plus T setup, or because I remember you mentioned a long time ago, or a while ago, that you were thinking of the O/T setup, where like, I don't know if someone else is doing that right now, where like they the amount they earn, they just get paid that on chain, or are you guys doing the standalone O VPS thing?
No, we have multi-O. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, no, you're right. So we have multi-O right now. We have an accounting system built in that Ftkuhnsman and Mike had developed. I think Marco contributed on that as well, and that's how, we have something that's a little more unique as far as how payouts are handled, the accounting system behind that. But yeah, it's right now it's we have a standalone O and then transcoders connect.
Right.
And then in terms of Livepeer, though, we modified Livepeer. I shouldn't say we forked it. We modified Livepeer, and allows us to be able to track the transcoder as he connects and disconnects. What his ETH address, what some of his capabilities are. So like, I think that part of it is also critical to the pool. So it's not just, we did modify Livepeer. I mean, so did the Nico stuff, but a lot of the payout logic we built separate and independent of Livepeer.
Yeah, there's a lot of supporting infrastructure around, the pool now that didn't exist prior. There was a lot of efforts from like the developing side of it to basically split out a lot of stuff, make them independent, self-sufficient, and provide more details. We're going to be building in, a T selection algorithm similar to what we have for the Livepeer dashboard, where you have a orchestrator performance to help differentiate between who should be getting what. So if you have good performance, you should get more streams. So it rewards that. Eventually we might consider a loyalty program similar to what you have, Titan. All these things are built out so that way we can build upon them and provide more analytics and more insight to what people are giving us as well as what we're giving them.
Yeah, I really like how you can see the session per transcoder on your list. That's like really cool.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, those are active. That was definitely stuff they added in at the last minute. So
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. It says here pending, vested, and payout. What does vested mean?
So the way, and this was developed by Joey, so I don't know if you want to talk on that, Joe, or if you want, I can try to explain what you created.
No, happy to. So from the get-go, we knew we can't pay transcoders with funds that we have not received yet. Just because with luck, you may go through periods where you're just not winning tickets, or you go through periods where you're winning more tickets than the work you're performing. So your pending balance is the actual amount of, let's say, ETH that you've earned based on the number of pixels transcoded times the current price. Okay, so as you're doing work, your pending balance is getting credited for the work you're doing. Once a ticket is won, our payment system takes the value of that ticket. Obviously, it takes out it considers the delegator share, it considers the pool commission, and then what's left is available to pay the transcoders. So of that single ticket, it's divided up in a prorated manner amongst all the transcoders in the pool based on what their current pending balance is. So as tickets come in, your pending balance, which is what you earned, turns into your vested balance, which is what the pool now is able to pay you.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay.
So say if we ever do go into a deficit over time, through daily payouts, and as we win tickets and fund, and we preceded our escrow account, so that way we don't start out at a deficit, but we should be able to remediate any deficits over time by paying out that ratio until it satisfies the debt owed on there.
Very cool.
It'll be fun to explain to new people that have no understanding of how the problem is.
Yeah.
That's what it's based on for us. I mean, that's the reason we came up where I say we, but that's the reason that it was put into place.
Yeah. Do you have so how do you manage performance then?
Well, right now that's a work in progress, as everything is right now. But the standard Prometheus, Grafana, Loki, those are the kinds of things that we're leveraging today. But there's some ideas about how we could better, benchmark capabilities, bandwidth, and some of those things. But we wanted to get out there first and just get the word out that there's no longer a dead pool. We have some live pools here that aren't live pool. And I think some of the other things like that will come over time. We have an aggressive roadmap. We'll be publishing that pretty soon as well, or maybe not pretty soon, but we definitely have one that we're going to hopefully share and discuss what the timeline of things look like.
Very cool. Oh man!
And the goal is to have like a selection process that works similar, but a similar concept to the way that Livepeer has a selection process for orchestrators, but we will do that at a transcoder level.
Yeah, that's definitely on the list. We want to be able to measure key performance metrics and make sure that the transcoders that should be getting work are getting work, and so there's a little competition there, and people can actually get paid based off how good they are. I think initially we'll be limiting the capacity of every transcoder, just hard capping it, just so that someone with maybe a really, really bad bandwidth doesn't get a 20 stream capacity. But that'll just be temporary.
How do you guys so when people join, how do you know how much capacity they do? Are you doing something similar to me where you are running a benchmark on their machine?
Right now it's hard coded. So right now you get 5. Right. Eventually the idea is to use live metrics, which I'm not entirely sure on the development process of where we are on that yet, if anybody is familiar with any efforts we started on either Marco, Mike, or FTK.
That is all still a work in progress.
Yeah, I would highly recommend you do something locally on the machine to do with, like, my pool benchmarks every 10 minutes for one session. And if you go over the threshold of like whatever 0.35, it'll shut down your transcoder. And you'd be just blown away by the amount of people that turn off their dual mining while doing the initial benchmark, and then like turn it on after they start running, and like 10 minutes in, they can't transcode anything in real time. So the local benchmark picks that up pretty quick.
Yeah, we looked into that a bit. I think the general consensus was we wanted to try something a little different, that doesn't run a benchmark and just continuously gathers metrics. Well, I don't know exactly what tools we can use to do that. The developers probably have a better understanding of that.
We have some database.
Go ahead.
We have some like databases set up, and where we're, I think the initial idea was to collect some separate moving averages on round trip scores, and if you in the short term, like, and then build that into our selection algorithm where if you are performing well on a round trip score that comes in that we track, then that would be our performance metric, basically our benchmark.
Yeah,
you could see that on a live stream coming through, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's like way better ways you can do this live without having to just randomly benchmark every 10 minutes.
Not that your way is bad or anything like that, but
dude, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not like, dude, this entire pool thing has just been one big experiment. Like, I've been just like, oh, like, how does this work? Like, how does that work? How can I do this? Like, by no means do I think my pool is like the way to do anything. In fact, it's probably a lot of things not to do, right? So, yeah, no.
Hey, man, hats off to you for what you built, dude. If you look at the end of the day, the live pool stuff wasn't really done well, and it kind of it got neglected. You there, man. You're working on it. It's functioning. Folks are satisfied with it. So I would be proud of what you've done, man. And again, look at the effort it came from us to get this off the ground. I mean, we all kind of thought it was, repackaging the live pool open source stuff, but wow, there was so much effort and energy that went into it, and it took so many of us to do it, that for you to be able to chip away and build what you build, man, it's a testament to the stuff your commitment.
Yeah, like
one of the things, if you look at the amount of people out there who can't just spin up a broadcaster and broadcast because of XYZ. Maybe they're geographically limited, maybe it's bandwidth limitations, there's so much out there, but doing what you guys do is what decentralizes the whole, well, I have Twitch, but I can't say shit on Twitch or I'm going to get banned. That's ridiculous. So, I really look forward to it, to see where the future is going to go. And, all the kids that stream online, I mean, I've been in broadcasting for like way too long, like 04. So I've seen what it's come from, like Windows Media Server to Justin.tv to Twitch to, oh, what a nightmare. So it's really nice to see that there's something else out there other than, just the options that are there. And it's real simple for someone to spin up a stream too. That's really important to drive home, I think. It's like you don't have to have an account, you have to give away your personal information just to stream something online. So that's privacy is a real big one. What do you do if you're in a foreign country and you want to stream the news, and if you go over, a platform that doesn't like what you got to say? Well, too bad, they cut you off. And so, I from a privacy standpoint and a real world standpoint, I'm really excited to see what the Web 3.0 stuff does. And I think it's real big and it's important. Something to be aware of.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I'm curious just to see you guys develop this, because there's definitely room for a high performing pool. Like, I've been kind of dilly-dallying around with it for a while, and like I still am running into people where they're like just totally gaming my pool. Like, I'm still just figuring it out. But like, I originally was, I'll just wait until live pool is open source, and then I'll copy paste and I'll have a pool. And then he open sourced it essentially, and I looked at it and I was like, there's nothing here. Like, there's nothing I can use. or at least nothing that I want to try and use. And there was a lot of features that just hadn't been completed yet. And so I was like, wait, this is a totally open problem. This has a lot of iteration on top of it. So that was the inspiration of me starting the pool. And then now you guys are taking it to a whole nother level, which is like awesome. Like you guys are going to build something way better, which I'm really excited about, because there's room for really good pools in this network.
Yeah, it should be fun, man. I can't wait. I think we're all excited by it. So you'll hear a lot of information come out over the next few weeks. But just as a tidbit, you know, we put a lot of man hours, and I don't want to speak on man hours, but we have Python, JavaScript, Rust, like all kinds of programming languages in here, DevOps out the wazoo, Windows and Linux, and I mean, you can only imagine the amount of brain power went into these getting off the ground. But you know, this is just the scratch of the surface here. That iceberg goes real deep.
Very cool. Right on. Okay. Well, what we'll do is I'm sure we can circle back and talk about the pool some more. I'm sure I have like 500 questions because I'm just kind of curious as to what you guys are doing and how it's being built. It's very inspiring. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to just a little more of the other topics. And we can always come back to them. So I'd like to talk about just compiling. This is my topic. Compiling from source, Livepeer. So obviously you guys have forked. You guys have forked Livepeer then and built your own custom code into it. How easy is it? Like I need to make an alteration too for my pool. One of the problems I'm having is the secret to the pool is being displayed in the console since 3.35, which it seems kind of weird. I don't know why you would display a secret in the console on startup. It seems kind of weird. Obviously I want to comment that out or something. So I need to go in there, comment it out, and then compile. So how do you go about compiling Livepeer?
Their document, yeah, I was gonna say dive deeper, but their documentation is actually pretty good when it comes to compiling the software and getting it to work. Just be careful of like your operating system. I think we could post in the chat here the links to the Livepeer setup. I think the Docker area got some rough edges in terms of building the Docker image. That's also doable. Just, there's some landmines in the Docker setup getting that going. But yeah, the Livepeer docs, if you go there and, get a Ubuntu 20 system set up, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, cool.
For sure. But if you can get a Linux server going, all their docs, like 99.9% chance you'll get it compiled and it'll work.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, I had nothing to do with that part of it, but I do know that compiling it to an older version of Linux than the latest was something that we ran into being, someone else can probably expand on that.
Yeah, Ubuntu 18.04 was some of the Docker stuff was based around that. Starting there was a little easier, or rather I shouldn't say easier, just different. Like it had different software dependencies, and Ubuntu 20.04 was probably a little more stable. But if you go to 22, it's very different. So like trying to install on that, just be careful. And it all comes down to like software dependencies on the host. Like, did you install the NVIDIA driver before you tried to run the compile, or or some of these other packages? And I got a painstaking document that I wrote that has all the Linux dependencies. So if you do follow that guide, once I post it in here, and you get stuck, I got more like tidal wave for you.
Oh, thank you, Marco, for pointing out what I need to comment out. That's nice. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, no, I think I'll figure it out. I'll just spend some time and follow the docs. I'm sure I can get it.
Can I ask this?
Hey.
Is the reason that you want to comment that out have something to do with the way that guy was gaming your system?
Exactly. Yeah.
I had a feeling that was it. So maybe something that we need to consider as well.
So what he was doing is instead of running my software, he would find out the secret to my nodes, and then he would run a standalone T using the Livepeer software, and he knew the endpoint to the node too. So he would just connect to the endpoint and use the secret and connect, bypassing all of my features that I built into the node, right? So then what's happening is he's connecting to the node, and I have no way of kicking him from the node, because by default, if someone has your secret, they just connect, right? So it was just, again, it's probably like a flawed logic on how I do things. So this is me just trying to put a Band-Aid on a wound, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, no, I kind of just figured if you were asking that and you were just talking about that someone was gaming your system through, I just figured there was some kind of connection there, and I was curious to know what it was, so that if that's something that we need to consider, because I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know you can see the org secret in our same way that you can with.
Yeah, like if I know your endpoint. If I know your orchestrator's endpoint, and I just run a standalone T and I connect to your endpoint with the secret, then what, right? Are you able to do something about that once I connect? In my situation, there wasn't anything, right? The way I would get people to disconnect is if they ran my software, which would shut down. But if you don't run my software, if they're not running that, there's no way I can kick you. So I have to so I've been spending time trying to hide the secret so that you can't find it. So therefore, the only way to get the secret is my software, right? But it displays it right in the console when it launches. So it's like, damn it. How do I gotta stop that from happening.
Are they connecting from the same IP address every time? I mean, can you block that?
But the problem is, how do I block it? Because I don't run I run just the Livepeer. I don't run a custom configured Livepeer node. It's just the standard one. So if you connect to it and you have the secret, I don't really have a way of kicking you.
Yeah, you're in. Yeah.
So. Yeah, and only in 0.35 did they all start displaying the secret. Like it was so random. I don't know why it came up. It hasn't been like that since like day one, and then all of a sudden it's like, here, let's display the secret code needed to connect. Like it's like
and that's because the secret is in it's right in the command itself. Did you make it a file?
No, it's in the command itself.
Yeah, but if it's a file, the secret won't show up on there. I guess you want it to be in the command, so you don't need an additional file. But if the secret's in a file, then they won't be able to. They'll print the file name. They won't print the secret.
Yeah, but they can find that where the secret, that file.
Hey man, he's trying to obfuscate in the first place, Papa Bear. It's not like he's protecting anything. He's just trying to make it harder for some. You got to be smarter than the average bear to get on Papa's or Titan stuff.
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
You'd be able to crack them.
I'm figuring if this guy figured that out, he probably would figure out.
Yeah, that's true.
Where that password's being held.
That's true too.
Yeah. So anyway, I have just like a minor problem. Anyway,
we got those pool. Those are pool problems, man. We got those too.
Yeah. So I was like, what's going on here? And it's just so weird because like he clearly transcodes for New York real time all the time, like awesome. Like he clearly connects to the pool great, but like he's been kicked from LA and Toronto like 40 times because he can't keep real time. But somehow, for some reason, he's like, no, I want to connect to these 2 extra nodes that are really far away from me. And I'm like, why? Like, you don't keep the stream, you just ruin the pool. Like the logic, he doesn't get any more LPT from uptime.
There's no benefit.
Yeah, there's like other than he might. Yeah, like there's zero benefit. He just wrecks the pool because it means that the next stream that comes in, they're like, hey, like you didn't transcode this real time, so get out of the selection process. So I think he thinks he gets more work, but it's like you're actually just getting less work for everyone.
It's just me. I'm tanking your pool as our launch.
I was gonna make that same joke. Oh man, you're gonna shut me out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a fun experiment. So I'm getting there though. Like I did, yeah. So those are the problems I'm going through. So yeah, I have to compile from source, commenting out any of this information. And it just seems unnecessary to display the secret.
For sure. That's the whole, it's in the word, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be secret.
Yeah. Like I see it here. It says compare current settings with the default values and print the differences. But like, it just seems
what you could do?
Weird you would ever print a secret. Like, why would you ever print a secret? That's
what you could
definition
do,
of a secret.
Titan. And this is something that I actually thought about actually submitting as a fix to Livepeer anyway. But in the Go code, like that secret, as you're saying, it's just a string, right? It's just a string of text. And what I proposed was they encrypt that text. So like encrypt the secret, and then you can put it in your command encrypted. No one can read it, but you would have to decrypt it inside of Livepeer in order for it to use the real string and work with it. So, but you could decrypt the value, and they would never know what the real value is. And as long as you deployed that decrypted value, you could change that at any time, and it's still, they would never know what the real value was.
See, now that gets into cryptography, which I know nothing about, so it's not a good.
Well, if you get to that point though, let me know, man. I'd be willing to, because encrypting a string is very simple, and putting it in a Go app, that's something that I feel like we need in tool ourselves. Like, I mean, as an orchestrator, I want that in mind because I have a secret and I have my ETH password on a file, right? I want that even though it's my dummy, I still want it encrypted. So even if someone gets on the server, they still can't read it.
Right. Yeah. Like why do we have just like a
plain text, password for your ETH account? That's like your login and password on your server at the same time. Like, that's just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Okay, we got some new people joining us, so we'll go around and do introductions for new people who have joined. So we'll take a quick pause from that topic and go to more introductions. Flo, I see you've joined us. Flo, would you like to introduce yourself and any questions or topics you have?
Oh, sorry, I'm a little ill. Well, I don't have a lot of question, but I saw this secret appear in a log, so it's nice to have more news about that.
Secret log. I mean, again, Titan's got people's interest.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, either way, thanks for joining us. Do you have any other questions?
No, but I wrote something about a reverse proxy you could add in front of your orchestrator. With that, you could put a forward authorization and give an API key to people to connect to the orchestrator. If they don't have the key, they can't connect to the orchestrator.
I have something that I do in Traffic, which is a reverse proxy, and they have like an auth middleware. Yeah, that's definitely tight. I think you and I talked about getting something like that set up at some point, but getting a reverse proxy, you felt like it was probably a little too much at that point.
All I have to do is hide the secret. Like it's not.
You go.
Yeah, it's not like we don't need to go through reverse proxies and extra authentications or even cryptography. I literally just have to make it so that like nobody can see the secret, and like there's only one place it displays now, and it's like, okay, I just need to delete that line and life will be good. So no, but I like all these ideas. These are all interesting ideas, and I'm sure things will come up in the future. I did set up a reverse proxy finally with my what do you call it? My SQL server. I finally did, but it reduced the performance so much that a lot of my transcoders from far away were not able to hold a stable connection. So I actually stopped doing that.
Yeah, but for SQL, it's a TCP connection. Here it's for HTTP, so it's more powerful. You should not lose speed on that.
Well, there you
And
go.
the good point is you can give an API key for different people and remove or give access only to specific orchestrator.
Yeah, HTTP is what that stuff is really built for. It's not necessarily for TCP load balancing.
Right.
Yeah, TCP is more sketchy, and HTTP is directly in the protocol, so you will get a better performance with that.
And this is
Well,
why
it's a difference between layer 3 protocol and layer 4.
And layer
HTTP
7.
is layer 4. So layer 4 is a lot more user
Layer
friendly.
7.
Layer 3 is TCP, UDP. You're not going to be able to do much there.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I like learning things the hard way. Yeah, because I don't know.
That's how we all do it, baby. welcome to the club.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Flo. Great to see you again. Great to have you. Sundara, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hi guys, glad to see this room filling up with a lot more people. I don't really have a question, but I was looking for testers for fail to ban because I'm trying to write some filters so that we can drop the port scanning IPs. So don't really have a question, but happy to answer any questions about fail to ban if people have any.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about fail to ban. I have it set up on my couple of my Linux boxes, but I'm not sure how good it is, or haven't tested it. So, interesting comment. Well, I'd like to jump into that a little bit later. So, either way, thank you for joining us, Sundara.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Cheers. Varies, would you like to introduce yourself on a topic?
Yeah, well, I've been running Orchestrator for like 3.5 years now. As usual, no specific topic from my side, just listening.
Very cool. Thank you for joining us. I'm not sure if that was just me that was listening to Varies glitch out a little bit, but...
Oh, I couldn't hear that. You guys could hear that?
Couldn't hear them either.
I kind of picked it up because he said it a bunch of times. It was basically along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Varies, been running for a while, no topic for me today."
Okay.
But maybe a poor internet connection or something like that. But either way, Varies, great to have you. Thank you for coming. Cool. Okay, we've done introductions. Okay. Let's jump into... We don't have many more topics. Does anyone have a topic they'd like to bring up as we've been going through this discussion?
I'd like to know more about what fail to ban is. I'm just not familiar with it. And,
Yeah, good point. Avi, do you want to tell us a little bit about fail to ban and what you're working on and what you are testing?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys give me 1 minute while I put a headset on?
Sure.
So everyone can hear.
Sure.
I think I'll give a quick overview. Fail to ban is just a Linux package that you put onto a Linux box, and it prevents people from trying to log into your box from the web. And so mine is set up so that if you fail to log in 3 times, it bans you, or bans everyone. Or this is how little I know about it, but it bans either everyone or that IP address, or it's just a security feature.
I'm gonna guess
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, and
Yeah.
I think the idea is it stops people from brute forcing your password.
Right. So failed ban is a Python software that basically monitors log files.
So you can have the old school, flat text files in var log, and it can monitor those. It can also monitor journal control logs, which is systems that are running systemd today. So I have mine configured, obviously, using systemd. What it will do is you have to give it a bunch of regular expressions. Regex, for those who don't know, is basically a way of looking at a complex string and being able to put some parameters that can identify that particular string in a whole log file, which has maybe a few thousand other lines which are unrelated. So I can share some of those regular expressions with you guys. So it basically currently in its current state, it's just looking for those specific lines that we know are port scans because they end with that EOF error. That EOF error is basically the port scanning software trying to speak HTTP on a SSL port, and obviously SSL fails, and the message that you see at the end, the EOF is end of file, is basically the SSL error. So currently what I'm doing is I'm running fail to ban to go through the logs on my orchestrators, pull up these IPs, and Papa Bear brought up a good point because it had mistakenly put one of the Livepeer ingest IPs in there. So I'm going to add a whitelist of all the known Livepeer IPs. So hopefully then in the future, the only IPs getting banned are basically people, bots that are port scanning. These aren't even people, these are just bots. And I've got it set up so once, I'm just using the standard fail to ban rule, so it typically bans you for a day. However, I've also set it up that if you're a repeat offender, so if you get banned for a day and you come back the next day and you run a port scan again, this time it will be a longer ban. So it's sort of what do you call it? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm sorry, guys. It's 2 in the morning here. It's sort of self-maintaining in that as long as you've got a whitelist of the known IPs that you want to deal with, the only other people having SSL errors are basically port scanners. They're not broadcasters. Nobody randomly accidentally connects to port 8935 on any machine, right? So, and it's typically used in Linux for SSH because every Linux machine usually has SSH for people to manage them remotely, and it works really well for that. I know this from experience. In fact, on all of my machines, I basically disable password authentication. I set up SSH certificates, and I enable fail to ban. And I've stopped looking at the logs on those machines. That's the way it's been for years, basically. So it does work really well for what it does. It's a very mature software. And for one, I personally get a bit of OCD when I'm looking at my logs because all of us, I guess most of us have our verbosity in our logging turned up to 6, right? And then seeing a bunch of these, and unlike Vires and Titan, my nodes don't get work. So most of the time I'm just looking like port scans all day. So that really triggers my OCD. So that's one of the reasons I want to do it. I don't want to see that in my logs. And also it saves me a bunch of log space because one of my O's, I was actually running out of log space. And when I actually went through the logs, most of them were just port scans, basically. So that's why I started to do this, and I'm happy to help people set them up if they're interested in testing this. I've been running it for almost a week here, and it's looking pretty good.
So let me get this straight. You set up fail to ban to listen to watch Livepeer logs so that it can block incoming requests from people trying to poke at your Livepeer port. Is that right?
Yes. So I've basically added a filter over there that matches that TLS handshake error, EOF. That log that comes in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's only going to match the IPs on that line. So only the IPs that trigger that log are the ones that it will put into a table and then ban them for a day. That's how it's set up now.
Oh,
it's only looking for that line in the whole log. It's not touching any other lines or active.
That's an interesting security feature. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, it can't hurt because nobody else is failing to initiate a TLS transaction, right? The broadcaster knows that the orchestrator is going to be speaking TLS on port 8935, so he is going to initiate a TLS connection. Anybody else opening a plain text connection over there is going to fail. And I've also got the regex set up so we can match other lines, so any other sort of errors. But since I haven't seen any other errors in the log, I didn't want to, broaden the match and just play it safe to start.
Well, there you go. I like it. You should make a guide on it on the forum.
I probably should. Yeah, it might make it easy. I'll post a line in the the room here for people to see the log line. So when you see the log line, what's the channel for water cooler side chat or side chat? Yeah. So there's a log line I've posted in the side chat, water cooler side chat. That's typically what the log looks like when you're looking at it in journal control. And this is the exact log line that it's looking for. It's looking for obviously that date string and things like that. But it's looking for HTTP TLS handshake error from this IP. It ignores the port, but it looks for this EOF at the end of it. So it's pretty strict matching. So there's very slim chance for false positive. And yeah, that's all it's doing, and it is a good security feature, right? I mean, why do you want these guys just loading up your logs? Because after a few years, you realize that your logs are inside with quite a few gigs of just these bots sort of connecting to you.
I rotate and delete my logs, so I probably
Same here.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the size, but I'm more would be worried. Would this help for DDoS attacks or not really?
No. The only way you can truly deal with a DDoS attack is you have to. It's not even your ISP can't help you. The ISP has to work with the upstream provider. The only way that you're going to be protected from a DDoS. So people DDoSing you just need more bandwidth, or you need a provider that can provide you with that sort of DDoS protection. We can't do a router. Your ISP can't do anything about a proper DDoS attack. You need somebody at the level of Cloudflare to sort of alleviate that issue.
Okay, so this is just simply for the logs, really.
Well, that and the other thing these bots usually do, right, is they are pretty dumb bots, but in my experience with SSHD, if you sort of ban them for a long time, right? So there's one of the ban rules is basically if you get banned for a day and you come back and you get banned again, then you get banned for a longer time. In my experience, if you start banning bots for like a week, they usually stop hitting that IP for like a while, up to 6 months in my experience. So it's just less stuff knocking on that port. So not only is it just good for good clean log files, it's also just good because they'll start ignoring your IP once they realize that you're blocking them for a long time.
Good to know. Very cool. Yeah, I'd love to see a guide on that. Although I'm not too certain of the importance of it at this time, because right. But it's interesting. Fail to ban is an interesting package anyway. Very, very good for the SSH port protecting. Cool.
Yep. So anyone else have any questions about fail to ban? I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions?
That answers my question. I was just curious to know just the basics, and
I'm already using it.
Covered that.
Oh, cool. Maybe you can share the filters that you've set up, because I'm not very good with regex expression, but I've already posted the regex in the God, there's so many channels now. Orchestrator support channel. So
yeah, I will try to check that.
Yeah, just check that, and maybe you can share yours, and we can bounce some ideas off.
Cool. All right. Well, we are running low on topics. I think we are pretty much through them all. Do we have any other topics that anyone wants to cover? Andrew, did you have any?
Was there some topic? Oh, I had a topic.
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. No, you jump in.
We were talking about. I saw something about Livepeer and unbonding. Some Grayscale. Like, isn't there something? Was there something around that?
I forgot. Yeah.
FTX debacle that is sort of impacting Livepeer. I think Titan, it was you. Maybe there was a couple other people in Discord chatting about that. Was that something out there?
It's funny that you brought that up, because I was actually thinking about that earlier, and I totally forgot when it came around.
Well, I was thinking about participation rate, and it just got me to thinking if someone unbonded, we might get better rewards, but that's not what we were talking about.
There was an unbond last week, which actually is today. Earlier today, there was like 12 hours to go on it before it was actually completely or before it's able to be withdrawn, of 621,000 LPT. So I happened to notice that Titan, you had posted that someone asked something about Grayscale, and you posted a link to some Grayscale page that showed that they had like 614,000 LPT. So I was like, those numbers are pretty similar. I wonder if that is Grayscale unbonding, and are they about to, if it is them or anyone that's actually unbonding 621,000 LPT, or do we think that there could be a dump of LPT onto the, are people, so is there going to be a big sell-off?
Very interesting you bring that up. Yeah, so I don't know how closely you guys have been following the FTX debacle and all the contagion going through the market. Have people been following that at all?
Certainly listened to a few
Absolutely.
things on it, sure.
Yeah, so if you're in the crypto market at all and haven't been living under a rock, everyone knows that, FTX has majorly fucked up and punched a $10 billion hole in their balance sheet. Turns out a lot of basically companies are owned by FTX and their conglomerates, and so now it's creating contagion. Right now, Grayscale is at huge risk. Actually, their Bitcoin trust is trading at a 43% discount, which is crazy. And Livepeer is not... where was that? It was in the link. Livepeer is no exception. I think it's trading at like a 50% discount on their Livepeer trust. So, there's like huge contagion in the whole market, and it's still working its way through. And so there's a chance that like Grayscale could be OT. The thing is, they're not going to be selling their coins on the market. They're probably going to be doing an OTC, so it probably won't affect the price. Like, you probably won't see a jump or fall in the price, in my opinion. But
I think all that comes down to how much exposure they have to their subsidiaries, right? And I don't think it was that big. And considering the fees that they get on the just the I guess it's the custody and just the asset itself, like ETH and GDPTC and all that, they make a killing on that. I mean, it's overpriced big time. So there is some level of attractiveness to that, but unfortunately for them, because it's a bear market, you have significant exposure on the downside that they have to float for a little bit. From what I read, I don't believe they had enough of a hole that they owed to the subsidiary that would put them over. But as we saw with 3AC and FTX and a number of others, one day they're saying we're fine, and then next day, hey, we're bankrupt. So it's hard to read the tea leaves.
Yeah, like Grayscale has a 588k LPT, which is about a $4.4 million exposure, which in the grand scheme of Grayscale is like nothing. And in the crypto market, that's also like a drop in the bucket, right? So, but for Livepeer, I mean, that can definitely affect the price a little bit. Like 500 and 600,000 LPT dumped on like an AMM would tank the price pretty good for the day.
Yeah, but like you said, they would do an OTC deal.
They would do. Yeah, exactly. And right now their OTC deal essentially like, okay, so here's the CoinGlass thing. If you care to look, Livepeer. If you want to pick up Livepeer real cheap and you don't believe that Grayscale's at any actual risk, you can pick up Livepeer for $3.28. It's at a 54%.
I'm looking at that. Yeah,
it's at a 54% discount through Grayscale's trust. So you could pick up Livepeer for 50% off, as long as you don't mind someone else holding your keys, and that
which in this day and age is a real risky proposition. I'm sure.
I know.
And that institution has known exposure to FTX and what's the other company that Glacier?
Alameda?
Genesis. No, Genesis.
Yeah,
So
I think that the statements they've been making basically is they haven't let out any of that, and Coinbase has been acting as self-custody. Unfortunately, Coinbase won't share the wallet IDs to prove that they have all those assets, and they didn't lend them out. That's the real missing link here to validate it. What could possibly happen?
yeah, like
So I have
Hmm.
two questions about this whole affair. One, I mean, a couple of $1 million is hardly exposure for Grayscale, right? The investments are in the billions, and it's a professionally managed trust. So I have two questions. One, because Grayscale was working with FTX, does this mean they like, what does this mean? Is their confidence shaken? Does this mean they're not going to, they don't see they don't see Livepeer as a project worth supporting in their portfolio anymore? What does this mean for the relationship between Grayscale and Livepeer? Because for folks who aren't, invested in crypto, looking at, the companies that Grayscale would invest in was a big, a factor of confidence for them. So that's what I'm trying to understand. What is Grayscale exactly doing with the Are they going to dump all their LPT? Or is there a plan? Like what's going on with that?
Oh, that's a $4.4 million question.
Yeah.
So they haven't mentioned anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
you
no.
guys just
They're just like hey, your funds are safe. We're not doing anything. Coinbase holds everything. We're not at risk. Any exposure we have to our subsidiaries is small. We're not going anywhere. But at the same time,
they got the same PR firm as Sam, it seems. He's
I
saying the
will
same
say,
thing.
I did look up the wallet that unbonded the 621,000 LPT last, or really it happens this afternoon, or for me this afternoon. I could look and see, but it's in a few hours from now. And it looked like that so it may not be Grayscale, it just may be a coincidence. It's a very similar number because it looks like they were holding LPT for over 4 years. So I know that the Grayscale's only been holding it for I think 2 years or something, around 2 years. So maybe I mean, again, still wouldn't want to see that much dumped on the market. And I mean, I guess if it's OTC, it's I don't know exactly how. I mean, I know what OTC is, but I don't know that still dumping that. That's still pretty good volume for Livepeer shares tokens to trade.
Yeah, because I
So
mean,
that's, I
in
guess, just
OTC to avoid slippage and all that, they're still whoever's the buyer. You don't know what they're going to do with it next, right?
yeah. I mean, I guess that's yeah. I mean, it just seems in general it's probably not a good idea to. It's usually not a positive thing if that was to get put for sale like that to happen. Doesn't show confidence.
I guess as a big entity like Fidelity or others would come in at some point after letting these guys starve and buy that outright because the fees they make on all these trusts are obscene and they're a cash maker. So if large institutions believe long term in crypto, which I believe they do, this would be a very good asset to have because you then can garner those fees. Frankly, maybe that helps it convert to ETF for once.
So you guys are convinced that Grayscale is going to dump the LPT there?
No, we're not convinced. But I mean, the fact that there was an unbond of 621,000 LPT, regardless of who it was, I can't imagine that you would unbond that without plans to do something with it, or else why not be getting the interest on it? So that's.
I mean, it's just asset relocation or maybe allocation, but like, I don't believe Grayscale is in a selling position. But even if they were, like, would they really dump Livepeer? Like, it's just such a small position. Like,
yeah, and again, it may not even be Grayscale. Originally, it kind of was like, oh, those two numbers are similar. That's what made me think it possibly was. But then I did look and see that it's at least they've been holding Livepeer. I don't know about the amounts, but for longer than the Grayscale Trust has been around, the Livepeer Grayscale Trust. So
also, some
regardless,
people,
it's still a pretty big chunk to, and it's everything that that wallet had. So
there's also
I
a
don't know.
chance. There's also, which is fun about on-chain metrics, because you can't imply anything from on-chain other than they're unbonding. But why are they unbonding? Maybe they're just switching to a safer, colder wallet. And to us, we go, oh no, they're gonna sell, and it's like maybe they're just transferring to a safer, colder wallet and doubling down on security, but they don't understand how to use the custom, transfer bond function, right? That can definitely be a thing.
Very possible. There also was on the same day another unbond of 51,000. I didn't really look into that one, but it was a quite a big week for. I mean, that's why.
Yeah, but 51,000 LPT could be like Veres or Titan just moving shades.
Right. But just seeing those two on the same day, just
right.
Where
it made me think a little.
Where do you see? Where do you see these transactions? Where do you originate find them?
They're not in the top 10 anymore.
Well, they show up on Marco's tool, the NL, NL stats thing.
But it's not like I'm just trying to find something that replaces the Scout thing, where you got a nice graph of it, then doing unbonding amounts in a graph.
Well, I do have to say that seeing these amounts made me think of when you were showing me Scout back when it was just before it disappeared. That was something that you pointed out to me. You were like, anytime you see a big unbond, that's when you want to take a look at the price on LPT a week from then, and that was before we were on L2. So now maybe it would be 2 weeks from the time of the unbond.
Well, I think it's here. Wait. I think unbonding events. Wait, there's already a copy of this. Hold on. If you go to this,
where are you?
If you go to the NL frames that if you hit better stats, I posted it in the water cooler chat. You should be able to just, if you scroll down, you can see one that says unbonding events. Is that the same as daily unbond stake?
I am still looking for where you see the better.
Oh, there it is. Oh, wait, but I don't want it linear. I want it in a linear, not a. Oh, this isn't. Oh, I found it. This is the exact. It's in Dune Analytics. If you scroll down. But I don't want a. I want a linear graph, not a what do they call it? Exponential one, like a.
Logarithmic.
A logarithmic. Yeah, I don't want a logarithmic one. How do I change that?
I don't even see where you're looking, but I'm still scrolling to unbonding events. Okay.
Because logarithmic doesn't really. It looks like lots of unbonding is happening, but it's not. How do you change that?
Don't know that you can. Where results? Yeah, I don't.
Wait, unbonding there. Oh, wait. On this graph, it changed to. Wait. I somehow changed it. I don't know how. It's now linear. Okay. Yeah, so that.
I wish you could share your screen because I'm not even sure if I'm looking at the same thing.
Okay, how do I... Wait, how did I get the different... How did I change that? Because I wish I could just share this with you.
I think
oh, no, wait.
Marco just edited it.
Wait. It literally just changed. Oh my god. Is Marco changing this as we're talking about it?
Probably.
I think he is. Yeah, it changed. Yeah, he changed it.
Oh, I see it. Now I see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
he changed it on me. Oh, what a guy. I appreciate that guy. How amazing. Yeah, so now you can see, if you go to this graph, yeah, there's a giant unbond there for 632,000. And we haven't seen anything that high since May 19th, where there's 1.1 million unbonded. Been some other big ones though. But yeah, we haven't seen any unbonding throughout the summer. I'm kind of surprised about that. No unbond. Yeah, this is the largest unbond there's been in like
by far
half a year. Yeah. But that, I don't know, but what does that mean, right?
Wait, am I even looking at the right thing? Oh no, sorry, I was like looking at something different. But yeah, it's a pretty sizable one. Yeah, like you said. Now that I'm sorry, I got disconnected for a second, so I just kind of catching back up here. Yeah, I mean there hasn't been anything big in quite a while.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit.
I can hear you better than I could before. I didn't hear anything. You didn't even go green around you. And now I can hear you.
Is it too low or?
You're just cutting out a lot.
It's cutting in and out, but I can understand what you're saying. So if you've got something good to say, go for it.
Yeah, I just looked at the unbondings and you can see like the 53K before that. That's like the orchestrator that those 600K were staked to, and those like the 4F1, and that was for East Coin Fund. So maybe they just like shut down operations, and that's why this big stake also unbonded. Maybe like it's distributing the stake or something. I don't know.
Oh, the 600?
Like the 50K, that's like the average from Coin Fund.
Oh, right.
They unstaked everything, so they're becoming inactive, right?
Yeah, and if you notice, there's like still 92,000K staked to that, or at least there was a few days ago. I haven't checked. I wonder what some people are sleeping there or not paying attention. See if I can pull that up. So just to recap, because you were breaking up a little bit, various. So you think it's a possibility that they just close down their operation, and what was your theory possibly that they were doing in addition to that?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know like what's wrong with the audio. Well, the theory is that this is not like it's probably not the Grayscale, those 600K, the downstaked, probably like another big fund or like an investor, and probably they just like staked to Coin Fund, and Coin Fund informed them that they're shutting down, and that's why they unbonded.
Got it.
That's like my theory.
So
I like that theory.
So maybe someone's about to get some big stake once if they don't, if they want to stay in it and just move it to another orchestrator. I have a feeling it might go to Varies, but hey, you know what? So keep it instead of selling it. Sounds good to me.
And just
yeah, maybe Varies can buy a mic after he gets the stick.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I was also talking to an investor, and they said that by the end of the year, they want all their assets back in their own wallets, and then they plan on staking again in January. So I don't know if some investors, whether it's for tax reasons or whatever, they just want to get the stake back in their wallets before the end of the year. So we could see all that stake possibly come back in January.
There you go.
That actually wouldn't surprise me to know for tax reasons. There may be a reason for that.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's interesting because that you said it was Coin Fund that's who was running that orchestrator. Varies. Well, either way, it's interesting that even though they're in. It's just interesting that. Whichever orchestrator that was whoever was running it. I don't know if you said it was Coin Fund. Is that I wasn't sure if I heard you right, but there's still 92,000 K staked to that. Even though it's interesting. They're inactive, but they show. Do I need to refresh this? They're still making all the reward calls, even though they're inactive. I don't know how that is. How do you do that? No, that's weird. Their last reward call was several rounds ago, but it still shows them as 30 out of 30 on their reward calls. So I don't know if it's just an Explorer anomaly, but something's weird with that orchestrator. That I mean, you'd think that actually I don't even know how many people are making up that 92,000, but there's a lot of people that are thinking that they're getting some staking rewards that aren't. I don't know the point of me bringing that up is, but I'm just looking at it right now, talking out loud. Sorry.
All right, friends. We've gone through quite a few topics. Do we want to cover anything else before we close this out? We talked a little bit about Grayscale, a little bit of Contagion, which is interesting. What was the original question to that anyway? Was Grayscale doing something?
Was it them that unbonded? I think that's how it started.
Right. So the answer is we don't know.
And likely not. Likely not.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, because it's like, what is it, 4 million? They have 10, 11 billion in BTC, 4 billion in ETH, and a bunch of others in other current. I mean, is it even worth the effort for somebody to actually go figure out who holds the wallet, figure out who holds the wallet password, and then do all of this stuff for LPT?
No.
For an organization like them.
Grayscale is a buy and hold play. They are not, I don't believe, are speculative in their nature. I think they're like they're speculative because they're in the crypto industry, which is speculative enough, but like they're not day trading, they're not trading.
Correct.
And so the only reason they would be selling, I think, is if they're exiting a position in a project that they believe is dead, because I think they've done that before, or at least I know other companies do something similar, right? It's a dead coin, all right, move on. Or they are forced liquidated due to holes in balance sheets and bankruptcies. But I don't believe Grayscale is actually in. I mean, it would be too quick for them to liquidate. Like the FTX bankruptcy is going to go on for the next 10 years. Like Mt. Gox is still in bankruptcy, and that was way less of a caboclo than FTX. So. Like, this FTX thing is going to go on for 10 years. Like, they're going to be scrounging for assets and dealing with jurisdictional battles for 10 years. So, by the time they, it would be crazy for them to liquidate now. Like, it's just, the timing doesn't make sense.
Well, it would probably destroy the crypto industry, too, because it would force MicroStrategy to liquidate, too.
Oh, yeah, well.
The two of them combined are like two of the top 4 or 5 holders of BTC in the world.
Yeah, I saw Michael Saylor live like last month. It's interesting.
I think what Ben said makes most sense because of all of these with these issues with these exchanges, a lot of them might be saying, "Hey, do we have this in a hot wallet? Why don't we move all our assets to a cold wallet so that we don't go down this road then with some random Canadian dudes taking all our money?" No offense, but.
No, speaking of which, yeah, Titan. That I can't remember the name of that exchange, but you posted that, or you brought up probably a couple months, or at least
Quadriga CX.
I listened to that.
Quadriga CX,
yeah, I listened to that that series of podcasts. It was really entertaining.
That podcast was riveting. Absolutely, I heard the whole thing.
I was like, damn, it's over. I want to hear more. Like But I just thought I'd throw that out there. It was a good little listen.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. I mean, that was the first or second exchange I've lost money on. And that was like, man, after that happened, I like really got into like securing your own keys. I was like, I don't trust anybody because I trusted Quadriga CX seemed so trustworthy. They're like, I was like, I don't know. And like, I was like, it seemed like a good place to go. I've been using them for years. Like, it was great. And like, it was never there. Like the cryptos that I had on that exchange literally were never actually there. Like they were just numbers on a screen that made me feel good. But like, I was just sending this guy money. Like, it's just, man, once it happens once, you're just like, nah, man, like crypto is amazing because of its self-custodial properties. Like that's what makes it amazing. So yeah, it's a good podcast.
That part of it, if you're not using the self-custody part of it, you're really kind of missing the point.
Yeah. So Yeah, that's a great one. I really do enjoy. I really enjoyed that podcast series. So, if anyone wants to listen to something very educational and entertaining, it's worth a listen. Cool. Okay, well, we're gonna end it there. I think we've talked about quite a few different topics, and it was a great discussion. So, thank you everyone for coming and joining on this week's Water Cooler Chat. It was great to see everyone. Any final comments before we head out?
Yeah, just a reminder that Yondon will be on next week, so get your questions ready because let's take advantage of that while we can.
Yes, please get your best questions together for Yondon. He'll be joining us next week. So for Q&A. So if you've got deep-seated questions you've had, please write them down, articulate them well, and we'll go through them next week.
Sounds good. See everyone next week.
All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Sundara?
Oh.